So today we're going to talk about a brand new book, Nancy Pelosi's The Art of Power.
Nancy Pelosi grew up in a household where power was like electricity and running water.
Nancy Pelosi came up in a historical era where we did see politics as combat.
Of the most powerful woman in American politics.
She's got this no-holds-barred attitude, and the other side be damned.
Nancy Pelosi has never been accused of bringing a knife to a gunfight.
Madam Speaker!
Listen, everyone's going to talk about this book. There's going to be a million takes. We're going to learn 3 things about power from the preeminent power broker, Nancy herself. And these are lessons that if you are someone who wants power, needs power, lacking power, the woman's got power. So if you wanted a recent example of Nancy Pelosi wielding power in a very subtle, subtextual, but masterful way, let's just set the stage. Joe Biden has a disastrous debate performance. Everyone in the Democratic Party is just calling for him to step down. But Joe Biden is digging his heels in. He doesn't want to go. Nancy Pelosi goes on MSNBC. And, this is a very brief moment, but truly it is just a masterstroke of power.
I want him to do whatever he decides to do. And that's the way it is. Whatever he decides, we go with.
She communicates almost like a mafia boss. You're going to make the right decision, Joe. It's up to you. But you know what to do. You know what to do. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Bookwise from bookclub.com. I am your host, Britt Brewer, AKA Dr. Books, a licensed professional reader and book recommender. Okay, so what can we learn about power from Nancy Pelosi? The first point is that power is understanding that winning truly is a numbers game, okay? It's not a game of emotions. It's not a game of trending topics or headlines. It is a numbers game, and you got to stay persistent, and you got to just watch the numbers. And, young Nancy learned at a young age, because she came from a political family in Baltimore, the importance of a strong ground operation, that every vote counts, and how, more importantly, to count votes. And Baltimore, for any of you folks who watch The Wire, it is a town that is just entrenched in just really, really underhanded sort of back office, just think of smoky cigars, and everyone's wheeling and dealing. It's one of those just raunchy, kind of deeply political towns. And Nancy, who was the only girl and a bunch of boys, and her dad was a politico, she learned this. And the important thing is that she learned that you got to have the votes, folks. And, this would be very, very important later when Barack Obama was in power. They're trying to pass the Affordable Care Act. It's looking really hairy. It's looking really dicey. But you know what? She was relentless. She was just going to people's office being like, what's the vote going to be? She was up all night. She was getting those numbers. She was getting those votes so she could call and she could say, Barack Obama, it's me, Nancy Pelosi. I'm a spicy meatball. And guess what? We got the numbers, baby. That's how it went. How persistent is she? You know what? I'll take a quote from the book. I will let her speak for herself. So we're about to get the ACA over the finish line. And Nancy, things seem fraught, things seem perilous. But guess what? Nancy don't care. She's a real honey badger. I told them we wouldn't allow anything to stand in our way, no matter how high the barrier. First, we would push open the gate. If that didn't work, we would climb the fence. If that didn't work, we would pole vault in. If that didn't work, we would helicopter in. But we would not let anything stand in our way. This woman will not stop. She is unstoppable. And then in 1987, for a special election, she got elected in San Francisco. And apparently she had a ground game that was people just calling. The woman is on the phone. I mean, she will be on a landline. She will call you. She will say, you're going to vote for this? You're going to vote for this. And people will be like, I'm going to vote for this. I'm going to vote for this. I'm going to vote for this, Nancy. I'll do whatever you need. Okay, number 2, and this is a big one. It's better to be respected than to be liked. And I don't want to gender this, but this is a big one for a lot of us women, feminine people who will just say that they're sorry for things that you don't even need to be sorry about. You're just like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that I'm living. Nancy doesn't say sorry. She doesn't. She demands and commands respect. All right. And I mean, she's probably likable to some people. Maybe she's not that agreeable to many. She doesn't really care. All that she cares about is that you respect her power. And this was never so completely visible and on display when she and Chuck Schumer went into went into the Oval Office. This is like right around 2018. And Trump, he's doing his thing and he's trying to talk over and he's talking for her. And she says, no. So let's watch how Nancy takes the baton and basically spanks everyone in the room with it.
Nancy's in a situation where it's not easy for her to talk right now, and I understand that, and I fully understand that. We're going to have a good discussion, and we're going to see what happens. But we have to have border security.
Mr. President, please don't characterize the strength that I bring to this meeting as the leader of the House Democrats who just won a big victory.
Elections
but let me just say,
That's right. And that's why the country's doing so well.
What the president is representing in terms of his cards over there are not factual. We have to have an evidence-based conversation about what does work, what money has been spent, and how effective it is. This is about the security of our country. We take an oath to protect and defend, and we don't want to have that mischaracterized by anyone. And
I agree with that.
We are
No, I agree with that.
You know what she does? She goes, I'm your mommy now, and you're going to sit down. She says, Mama Pelosi is talking, and you're going to sit down. And Trump was like, yep, that's power. And last but not least, dress for success. Let me be clear. I don't mean that you have to dress like Nancy Pelosi. I don't mean that you need to wear stilettos or dyed to match pumps or pantsuits or do your hair or whatever. But you need to come into a room looking your most confident, most radiant self, whatever that means. For Mark Zuckerberg, maybe that's his finest hoodie. That's what makes him feel powerful for whatever reason. But for Nancy, look at this. After that video, this woman puts on, I don't know where it's from, maybe Theory? I don't know. But she puts on a burnt sienna coat, and then she puts on sunglasses like she's freaking James Bond, okay? I mean, this woman, look at this. Look at this. That is a power coat. That's a power move. But most importantly, that's someone who's like, yeah, I did do that. And I looked good doing it. And I felt good doing it. So just when you're going into a room, don't feel like a schlub, whatever that means. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to dress up, but just feel like you deserve to be there, like you own the room. And whatever message that you want to broadcast, you do it with your attire. Me, I like to dress like, I don't know, I'm Tony Soprano's personal assistant. How you doing? I'm okay. Okay, folks, this has been Britt Brewer for Bookwise, a podcast from bookclub.com. And we have been exploring Nancy Pelosi's new book, The Art of Power, through 3 points about how you can wield power like a Mama Pelosi. And as always, happy reading.